So we are in this dialogue of Yama and Yami, the twins of Vivasvat, the children of the Lord of the Sun, who is involved in this manifestation. They are coming for the purpose of arranging the travel of the souls of human beings from heaven to earth and back to from heaven to earth and back to heaven, or from earth to heaven and back to earth. So that travel is so important. That's why they were born from Vivasvat. That's why that's their major purpose, major agreement, that will be their work. So I will go quickly through the first 10 which we did and finish with the rest today. Ochit sakhayam sakhiya vavrityam tirach puruchit arnavam jaganvan pituch napatam adadhita vedhach adhi kshami prataram didhyanach. The first argument is from Yami. How should I bring back a companion by companion, literally, across the many he has gone over the ocean? The Creator should establish the offspring of the Father here, thinking of the follower on earth. This is the most important verse, which explains actually everything. So the dialogue happens already when they parted, truly speaking. And for some reason or something happened that they met, or she speaks to him over the distance. How should I bring back? Yeah, because he is already gone over the ocean. And the Creator, Vedach, most probably Brahma Swayambhu, established here, should establish the offspring of the Father. That means all the Petris of the souls here, yes, thinking of the follower on earth in the material framework. So this is the major argument that she wants to bring him back, to share with him the same space. Sakha means sharing the same space, being of the same environment. They should stay in the same home. Nate sakha sakhiyam vashti etat. That's the answer of Yama. Salakshma yad vishurupa bhavati mahasputraso surasya vira divodhartara urviya parikyan. So Yama's argument is quite interesting. Such friendship your friend does not want, where the one having the same features should become different. Where the one having the same features should become different. This is something to comprehend. The sons of Asura, great Asura, the hero souls, the supporters of heaven, look everywhere and far. Now these are the hero souls of the Pitris there, and we will mention the gods also, who are looking everywhere. They are supporters of heaven, and they are wondering what is going on. Or I put something else here today. Such a shared space, Sakha, for both in the physical world your soul friend seeks not. Where the two of the same soul nature or the same origin are seen as strangers. Because in the physical world everything is separated by time and space, and their being together there makes no sense. Yama's reference to the supporters of heaven who could see all is a hint of pre-arranged agreement of their roles, and Yami seems to know about it, because he doesn't really speak more. He says that they are there, so you remember our agreement. Who does what? Yama must go to heaven and support the evolution of souls from there, and Yami must stay on earth. That is not declared, but it is understood. He refers only to those hero souls in heaven for himself. And then Yami's argument. For the immortals want indeed this. Immortals, she refers to those in heaven. They want this oneness of the physical and spiritual. They want the oneness of the manifested world with the spiritual world. The descendant of the one, of the mortal. May your mind, mental concentration, be established in our mind. Interestingly, she says, in our mind. That means many, in the foundation of many. May you, the Lord, pervade the body, or this extension in time and space, which I am here representing, of procreating power. You can generate everything here without staying there. So there will be no gap between them, between the two representatives of the group soul. Yama answers very interestingly. What we have never done, na yat pura chakrama, kat dhanunam ritavadanto, anritam rapema. This is a question. What we have done, we never done before. So how about now? We were always one in the origin. We were born in the same yoni, in the same womb, in the womb of Sanjna. Sanjna was the mother. Vivasvat is the father, the Lord of the Sun. So how you would do this in time and space as separate beings? Speaking the truth, shall we whisper, chatter untruth? Shall we think about truth inwardly and do outwardly something which is not fitting for the inner union? Gandharva is in the waters, and his woman is of water. This is the origin, navel, home, the supreme kinship. He refers to their supreme kinship. Yama points her to the divine origin of them both. They are both originated in the same waters. They are both the children of Vivasvat. Therefore, they cannot be like husband and wife on earth. Otherwise, there will be no evolution of the body and of consciousness. They need to take up onto themselves the whole world and turn it into the divine dynamic journey to the truth and immortality. If they stay together as souls here on earth, there will be no sacrifice and no transformation of nature, the fallen emanations, and therefore no evolution of consciousness. They have to identify themselves with the body of another. This is the key. And by that, do their sacrificial work of transformation. So the souls take onto themselves this darkness of the body, of the fallen emanations, and by that they slowly transform those fallen emanations. If that is not done, if the identity is still maintained of the group soul with these two who are here to do the work of transformation, if the gap is not accepted, let us say that way, in time and space, then there will be no journey, there will be no evolution. The divine will stay the same, and the nature which is there, fallen, will stay the same. There will be no interaction between them, the fallen nature and the soul delegated to convert it. She cannot take it, and her argument is quite interesting. For the Creator, says Yami, made us twins in the womb. So why do you really worry about this. We are meant to be together by the God himself, the God Tvashtar, Savitar, Vishvarupa. It was his doing. Nobody can diminish these laws. One knows us as his heaven and earth. And that is their major task, to represent heaven and earth in this transformative movement forward. So Yami wants to stay with Yama nevertheless, because they were born of the truth. And for her, their parting is a very difficult thing to do. She wants to be one. And this wanting to be one is an aspiration which must be maintained by all our souls towards our heavenly or towards our divine nature. This is a very important feature of Yami, which all the souls have to, which we all have because of her, most probably. She represents the group soul. So Yama says very interestingly, Ko asya veda prathamasya ahnach, ka im dadarsha, ka iha pravochat, Brehan mitrasya varunasya dhama, kad u brava ahano vichya naren. This is totally impossible to decipher his arguments unless we understand what they are and what they are here to do. Who really knows, he says, about this first day of creation? Who has really seen it? Who can here declare, vast is the realm of Mitra and Varuna, or Ahana? What should you say, proclaim, to the heroic souls of man? To lead them away astray, or to deceive them, or whatever? Or it can be translated differently, to declare to them here on earth. How can you attract them? And lead them away from their origin, or lead them away from their purpose of transformation. Yama's argument is, why do you refer to the original state of existence all the time, that we are from the same womb? The world is manifested and has its purpose. It's already here. The original womb is gone, not visible anymore. Who is here now? Who here now can really say, or can really speak about the beginnings? Nobody. The realms of the divine consciousness and being are infinite. The transcendental is infinite. So what do you want to say by that? The infinity does not mean that we should be together. It's not an argument, he says. You see how I twist everything. I have my own presumption of the creation, and because of that, I read it differently. If you don't have that presumption, you will read it like you see the translation above. What will you say to the heroic souls of men to attract them to the embodiment on earth? Will you do your job here in this way, and not to bewilder them with the oneness beyond? You don't have to speak about the origin to them. They are not here to disappear from this earth and to merge into the beyond. The beyond is vast and infinite of Mitra and Varuna. So they're here to aspire to the truth. They're here to transform the fallen emanations. What will you say to them to attract them to the embodied state if you always speak about the origin? It's a wrong argument. Yami. The desire of Yama came to me, being a twin. That desire, aspiration, is very important for all our souls. In the same yoni, to lay together, in the same origin. As woman for her husband, I want to open my body in time and space. May we both move together into the vastness like the wheels of the chariot. Yami argues still that she has a strong aspiration to be together with Yama in a state of their original union. Why can't we maintain this union here on earth as in heaven? She questions. By the way, Mother questions the same thing in a different language. Many times she thinks that our falling into this, losing our free will and identity, heavenly identity, she even puts this question, was it a mistake? Yeah? Should we really be separated from our memory of who we are? This is what happened. Yeah? This is separation of Yama and Yami. And this is a very valid question. It's not a small question. She can be to him like an ordinary wife here on earth. And their union will be maintained in a physical form also. Why to do this? They could move in time and space together like the wheels of the same chariot on the same path. This is a big question. And his answer. Now he refers to the gods. Natishtanti na nimishanti ete devanam spashach iha ye charanti. The clarifiers, or those who see the spies of the gods. The gods are here already. Do not stand still. Do not sleep here. They move all over. You cannot make this world like this. There is the whole universe of creatures and faculties involved in this manifestation. You can't just undo it or move against it. Yeah? With another one, you go together. Not with me, O Ahana. With another one, you move together into the vastness like the wheels of one chariot. So what she has to maintain the gap. She has to receive the souls separately, maintaining the gap and uniting with them, helping them to find their place, their aspiration towards the truth. Yama refers to the previous agreement of them being born as twins and fulfilling the role of heaven and earth. Again he refers, now he speaks about the gods and their spies or their clarifiers, or those who see their perception. The perception of the gods is everywhere, so you cannot undo this agreement. He refers to it twice. First about hero souls, most probably Pitris, heroic souls, and now about the gods. And number 9. Ratribich asmai abhich dashasyet suryasya chakshuh muhur mimiyat diva prithivya mithuna sabandhu yami yamasya bibriyat ajami. She still insists on her way. May eye of Surya always serve him, open the vision, days and nights for seeing. Maybe one has to add in days and nights for seeing, because capital. For the union of heaven and earth is natural. May Yami bear the unnatural union of Yama. So she is ready to bear all the blame of this union too soon, before the manifestation is actually is fulfilled. So she wants that union to be sooner, and everything which will be unnatural from this, she is ready to face. She's very courageous in a way. That thirst of the psychic being for the divine in her is so strong that you cannot, that it is ready to really go straight to the divine, even if it will be a destruction of or there will be no realization in the physical framework. And then he says, Aghata gachan uttarayugani yatra jamayach krinavan ajami. Interesting. We will look into it. Upabarbrihi vrishabhaya bahum anyamichasva subhage patim mat. Definitely there will come the times, ages, where the related beings will do something unfit for those born in the same womb. All these wars, killing people, torturing people, we are all killing one another as if we are of different origin or something. Extend your arm, for the bull master husband, conceiver literally. Seek another Lord husband, not me, O perfectly blissful one. She has to unite with the souls through the gap. Yami and Yami. Here we stopped. It was our last verse. Are unique terms in the Veda, meaning born from or related to the same source womb, and unrelated or coming from another source or womb. The gap, and this is interesting because from the same source are souls, and from another source are the first and second creation. The gap is to be introduced into the relations as the means of growing in variety of species, individual forms, related to the same source. Do not have that gap, and can't be useful for manifestation of many. They will create no journey, no evolution of consciousness. I referred to it already before. They will stay together in their blissful union without undertaking any journey. They have to lose their oneness to gain unity in creation. So to lose their identity, kind of self blissful through self-identity, and gain the bliss through unity. Part of the group soul is to depart to the alien worlds, and by identifying with them create a new world, new manifestation. And another part of the souls is to be connected to the same source from which it came, otherwise it may lose its qualities. So the soul is split into two parts, as it were. We can say that Yami is the psychic presence on earth, that very presence which Mother refers as psychic presence of earth, giving life to all creatures, helping them form the psychic being in their journey. And if Yami is that, if Yami is really the presence of the psychic presence on earth, then all the greenery, all the animals, all the creatures on earth are actually formed by her. And then the human beings are growing with her help and getting more and more, becoming more and more formed into the psychic beings, yes, through the psychic presence. She is the aspiration of evolution on earth. And here we stopped, number 11. Yami says, okay, what is the reason for brother if there is no protection? What is the reason for sister if death is coming anyhow? What's the point in all this troubles of gap? There is no protection because of gap of the brother, of the related soul, brother and sister. And what is the point in sister if death is anyhow dominating the earth? I am bound to you by love, and tell you this, join myself with yourself. Do not depart. These are profound questions. Why do we need a brother if there is no true orientation for the soul? Why do we have a sister if death is settling down upon earth anyway? I was trying to look into the etymology here, because these are very interesting words, bharatri and svasri. And these are Indo-European etymology. You know, we have all these names of the relatives, like Matri is the creatrix, Pitri is the fulfiller, or the one who supporter. Bharatri also is a supporter. Yeah? To support, to bear the load of the other brothers, to share the load, let us say in that way, from root Bhari. And from here is also Bharata, yes, Bharata, Varsham, India's name. And Svasri is interesting. Possible that it is Svastri, because in all other Indo-European languages we have the stri, yes, sister, because the suffix was tri, suffix of the duo, matri, bhratri, pitri, and then svasri. Because s is dental, then t could be with the ri, could be, melted down. Svasri. So I give here different swester, suster, all these words. And everywhere t is there as a part of the suffix of the actor, doer. So the question can be translated as, with this taking into account the etymology, what is the point of a supporter if there is no support for the soul? What is the point of the creator of oneself, swastri? It is interesting word, swastri. If there is death, how can you create yourself if death is here, and how can you support without supporting? So this is kind of deep question. How can it be done at all? Is it really doable? You think this is really what it is to be done on the longer run? It refers to that previous question, first question of the mother, whether it is even doable. Now it's a new verse, we didn't read it yet. Navate tanva tanuvam tanvam sam papricyam. Navate tanva tanuvam sam papricyam papamahuhyach svasaram nigachat anyenamat pramudach kalpayasva nate bharata subhage vashtietat. Yama says, not with your extension body I will mix my extension body. They call him sinful who comes down with his sister. With someone else create your happy gladness, or beautiful, your brother does not want this. I will go straight into the next. Bato batasi yamanaiva te manohridayam chavidama anyakilatvam kakshiyeva yuktam parishvajate libujeva vriksham O Yama, what are you? We cannot find neither your heart nor your mind. You're such a freak beyond. Other women indeed will yoke you as with a girdle, as a creeper embracing a tree. Yama says, Anyam ushu tvam, yamiyam anya utvam, parishvajate, libujeva vriksham, tasya va tvam, mana ichha, sava tava, adhakranushva samvidam, subhadram. O Yami, says he, embrace a different self, and he should embrace you, like a creeper embraces a tree. Seek to know his mind, and he should seek to know yours. This is an important thing. It's very interesting with the mind. Thus, create a total and blissful knowing agreement with another. This another is such a philosophical concept, anyam, always anya, everywhere anya. This anyatvam, this otherness of self, has to be the way to proceed in this manifestation. So, tuning minds with the embodied soul on earth is a very needed feature of incarnation in the body. For Yami has to read the mind of the soul in order to know where to provide all necessary conditions for its future embodiment and development. Yami, being a psychic presence on earth, should actually know very well and accommodate the souls, accommodate into this psychic presence, because these are projections and they have to join the atmosphere on earth. They build these nation souls, they build these peoples, they build these civilizations here with the interaction with the spirit of earth. The intention created at the end of life is crucial for a future reincarnation. You know, this is spoken in the Gita and everywhere. Sri Aurobindo even speaks about this, emphasizing in the Mother that the last intention on earth before soul departs, that viewing the whole film of what we lived through, what we did and what we didn't, and making an intention for the future reincarnation is actually codifying the future place of birth. And Yami has to read it, has to know it. Somebody on earth has to know it in order to provide suitable location for the future reincarnation. The link to which is provided by Yami. Okay, I stop here. This is the whole hymn. And if you have some thoughts, I know that this interpretation nobody will give, but I kind of force on it this. And I believe this is the true meaning. Yeah, you are bewildered with my...
I don't know if I'm oversimplifying, but what I got out of it is that Yama represents the vipad, the transformation, the connection between the psychic and the supreme, and that Yami represents the Chatushpad, the evolution on earth, and that she is aspiring to that direct passage, but no, she has to have the slow passage, the slow form. Ultimately, they both have to happen. I don't know if you think that fits, but that's what kept coming to me.
Yeah, it's close, but they are Dvipad. Actually, they are Dvipad of the group soul. They are both Dvipad. Yeah, one is projection of the other in the midst of manifestation. The other is beyond, waiting for the soul, so to say, to. This is the circle what they provide. But because of this Dvipad, yeah, the Chatushpat can take place. The Chatushpat is not possible without this being two of them. But the psychic being will be born later as being. Psychic nature is there already. It's in the greenery, it's everywhere, yeah, on Earth. Earth is a psychic, in a way. And in that sense, yes, she represents that push towards the instruments which have to be built.
Vladimir, I heard you sort of distinguishing between the psychic presence and the psychic being.
Yes.
Can you explain a bit more on that?
Mother explains this. If she would not explain, I would never even know about this. She says that the whole earth has this psychic presence. And she says that psychic presence is much stronger in the flowers than in many human beings. And so even flowers have stronger than human beings. Yeah? What to say more? And this presence slowly grows into being in the human beings. It kind of acquires more and more elements from interaction with more complex mental, vital, and physical relations, yes, learns from them, and builds up that bridge from within to the without. And with that building bridge, it becomes more and more developed into the being, which can come to the front and manage totally the mental, vital, and physical nature. That means like a replica of the tripad in this case, yes, and making it Chatushpat, fully evolved. Once it is coming to the front, it will start expanding into the universe and embracing the whole world and breaking to the transcendental, and then Chatushpat will be fulfilled. Fulfilled in the divine sense. Yeah? But without this presence on earth, psychic presence, there would be no projection of the unborn self. Unborn self is that projection which is supported by the psychic nature of earth. And Mother says even gods and Rakshasas, or whoever, typal beings, universal beings, if they want to change their consciousness, they must be born on earth in the physical body. Only in the physical body the change of consciousness is possible. That's why Yama doesn't want to stay with Yami, because they are here to change that nature. Of course, Yama and Yami are the representatives of the group soul of humanity. These are not individuals. These are like the sun and the core of the earth, if you will, something of that magnitude. They are seen as personalities here because they speak, but that is just for the mind to understand something. For me, it is a very beautiful answer for all the questions we may have. Of course, we may have more because we are so blocked by the sexuality and sexual relations and family. We are so blocked. We are so animal-like. We think very low about these relations. And we do not have the divine look at this process. We do not see the true meaning of it. Because it was so abused, and karma is so strong, and all the sins and all the strangers, things which are the ugliest happened because of this power. So we cannot really see it. But if we remove that, all that, cloud of things, and look at this union of two physical bodies for the creation of a new, what a beautiful symbol, yes? It's absolutely marvelous symbol of the souls being united in the physical form. Only the gap is to be maintained because we have to take onto ourselves all the fallen emanations. Our physicality is a fallen emanation, Sat. Our vitality is fallen emanation of Chittapas. Our mind is fallen emanation. We have to take them onto ourselves, and through that make the attempt to convert them through our relations. So it's not an easy way to see. That's what I want to say. But we can always try. I see. I'm not convincing everybody. It's like, dun, dun, dun. What?
Look at it this way, it is at least to me, it's a very, very deep yearning. The psychic, it's a very deep yearning not to be separated from the divine.
Right.
Any
That is Yami, absolutely. That is yearning, a very good word. I put aspiration. Aspiration is more conscious. It's more yearning. It's more like, longing. Yeah. Yeah.
Vladimir, could Swasri mean created from oneself? Creator from oneself?
In that sense, you translate Sri as I think Sri, if you translate as two roots, which is very unlikely, there has to be suffix at the end, so and mending. But if at all there's as two roots, then Sri is more flowing of oneself. Yeah, one's free flow, so to say.
Okay.
But it's rather creation of one's own system, framework, body, Swasri, and Bharatri is supporting that creation, that sister and brother, I guess.
Vladimir, I was just looking at it as Yami, the psychic presence on earth, doesn't want to be separated from heaven, that is the divine, from Yama. But he is trying to instill in her the knowledge that she has to undergo this separation because only she's aware that, this union with another, which he's suggesting to her, the union with another, in this case, Yami's union, say, with material nature, will create a lot of suffering, and the path will be long in evolution and growth. She's aware of that as a psychic presence. And so she's resisting that movement of union with material, physical nature, creating different souls thereby, who will, undergo a greater struggle to unite with the divine. She wants that, like you said, she wants a direct union, communion with the divine. She doesn't want the separation. She resists the separation. This is the psychic resisting the separation. And but it has to be undergone for the evolutionary purpose on Earth. Can we look at it like that?
Yes, yeah. Psychic has to reorient itself onto the working with nature rather than trying to get back to the divine. Yeah.
Yes.
Too soon, Because too
Yes.
soon getting back means not evolving anything, not transforming anything in nature.
Yeah.
Jumping out of the task of transformation. That's what mukti is doing. Yes, why mukti is so dangerous, because it is actually not fulfilling the purpose. It's a very selfish desire to be free from the burden of the transformation, and it is like escape, as Sri Aurobindo says. Yes, it's escape. It's not really the true purpose of the soul. That's what she wants. She wants an escape. She says we can live in this escape on earth also if you want. Why do you have to? Yeah, don't go there. Stay here, so to say. He has to go, and she wants to hold him here. Well, he already left. This is kind of a puzzling part of the hymn. Yeah, she speaks to him as if over the distance. Yeah.
It's
Or maybe
also
through
the
the other door, through the back door.
Also, another side issue that came out of this was the whole problem of attachment.
Mm.
You know, when one is very attached, that's why detachment being such a required attitude in yoga.
Yama's detachment, yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Yama's detachment.
And
Because
Yami's attachment, both are necessary, yes.
Yeah. Both are necessary, and yet both have their own place.
Absolutely, absolutely. In integral yoga especially, yes.
Yes.
It also reminded me of what you said during the Vedic Vision course, Vladimir, about God creating, the Supreme creating another because there was more. The Supreme had the delight of unity, but then there was the delight of multiplicity. There was the delight of the many.
Identity, yes. Yeah, he had a delight of identity, but he wanted a unity delight. He never had a unity. Unity
but
implies multiplicity immediately. Just, yeah.
But Yami is wanting that unity as it is, and it seems that Yama is saying, no, you need to diversify more. We need to have, there's more delight if there's more multiplicity. Find another, find someone else, keep going.
Right.
I see that tension between the two.
Right. She wants that, again, identity between them. She has nobody else, yes. They are born together as twins, twin soul. And she wants to be fully with the divine. Yeah? That is fulfillment. She wants to be fulfilled. But he says, fulfill yourself through gap, through the gap. Yeah? Let's create that fulfillment in every soul, and by that, transform the whole nature. That's the purpose.
And that brings us to this new age discussion. You know, there's this new age concept of the twin flame. You know, you find your twin soul on this in this incarnation, and then there is a whole dynamics that occurs between the twin flame, because just finding that your other half of the soul is not enough. There is very much of hard work to be done between the two of them. So that's the new age concept that I was.
Are you my soulmate and so on?
Exactly.
You will find a very interesting parallels with Savitri. Savitri has the same argument with the Lord of Death. Why, or with the divine even. Why should I do this, what you ask me to do, if you take my soulmate? Satyavan, you want me to what? What do you want me? And then I would rather go to heaven with him, interestingly, leave this work half done, undone, and join him there. That's what actually Lord of Death proposes to her. Why do you need all this suffering here? Just come, you will be in total bliss together, soulmates, yeah. And interestingly, she's nearly ready to do it. And then she hears the voice of the divine who says, and what will your soul do if it approaches the throne of the Supreme and will bow to him and say that your work is undone? You didn't finish your mission, Yami, whatever, or Yami in this case. You have to finish the work which you were sent to do. In shame it will bow down to the throne, he says, in shame that you didn't fulfill your divine mission. This is beautiful. It's the same story in different, mythological packages, but that transformation of fallen nation and emanations has to be done. And if you see the soul nations, I'm now reading the Ideal of Human Unity. It's an amazing book, especially the last chapters, where he explains something ridiculously important, which we always feel but never express. He speaks about national languages. You just don't realize that the war between Ukraine and Russia is a language war. It's only about language, nothing else. It's Russia wants to take over the Ukrainian language and destroy it. That's it, nothing else. Ukraine wants to maintain its own national identity. And he says a very interesting thing about this. He says that languages, national languages, evolve long time, over the period, have deep roots. They remember all the transitions, all the stages of their development, all the history, all the cultures built slowly. We, in relation to Earth, this is important. You live on a particular land, you name your rivers, these mountains, your rivers, you name everything around, And these names, words, they are created from this national language evolving. And with national language evolves the soul. There is a true soul behind, which is true relations of the earth, true relations to the earth of the soul of humanity, of the particular group of the soul of humanity. And all the varieties, differentiations of nations is the most important to preserve. Why? Because they are the true perceptions of the world, evolving. Every imposition of foreign language on different culture is a damage so severe that he gives examples, like the United States. Who could have thought that he will mention United States? He says it's provincial culture. There was nothing really truly created there, because it was never coming like UK from England. It was growing there, It created so many creations, so many poets, so many. Of course, there are many poets who traveled to US from England and settled, and they are considered to be American and so on. But truly speaking, if you look at the general setup, you will see that difference. French, very powerful culture, able to live and generate forever. And he speaks about India. India became so mediocre, so middle with this English, except Bengal. He mentions Bengal, interestingly. Bengal alone resisted and it maintained its identity. And because of that, the most powerful features, the most powerful people of Indian Renaissance coming from Bengal. Just look at this from a different perspective. You will see what Russia did to those hundreds of people living, erasing their national identity and imposing on them language which was created for this imposition. It is not even national language. It was made up in the 18th century, especially for the purpose of empire, to hold common language for all. For in that time, it looked like a very important thing to do, but now it looks like totally hostile against the very divine development on earth. So language is another very important part of a soul, identity and development. And I think it's also something has to do with psychic presence on earth. It has to match with that psychic presence. It has to be supported by that psychic presence, that development of culture and language and peoples. And if it is imposed from the mind, he says mind is imposing. Religion, this trades, this international thing and so on, the state order, it is all from the mind. It's important, but it should not dominate life. It should not efface these differences, because of these differences, we are not stagnating. The moment mind manages everyone, uniformity, we will stagnate and we will die out. There will be no soul development. This is something we have to take into account. Mind interferes. And we can see it in the US. I can see it very well. I have always thought, what is this? There's something which is very unique for US. This mind is unique. Mind is very powerful. But this uniqueness of self-expression is mediocre. It puts into some middle level. Just look at the President of the United States and everyone else around him. They really can digest it without any problem. Of course, there are more people now growing in consciousness individually and so on. Not to offend, Selby's looking at me with suspicion. Not to offend anyone, but you trace it also, no, Selby? You see it, or you don't. You must feel it at least.
Yeah, I do. I was thinking about how profound these ideas of nation soul and the relation to the land, the work that Michael Miovic is doing about the 7 earths, jewels of the earth, that one sentence from The Hour of God. But also because I live in Maine, we are very aware of the indigenous people here who have their languages, who have different names for everything around here. We use the colonized names, but I'm very aware of that tension between the indigenous people and their culture that is so many thousands of years old, and this land that we've taken from them and made.
In fact, if you listen to some of the Native Americans speak their language, the different ones like Hopi, or you hear their talk, their dialogue, the sounds that I don't understand that language, but the sounds that come from that language makes you feel that, yes, this is their country.
Mm-hmm.
You feel the soul in the language, whereas you don't feel it in the American English that you hear all the time. But when you hear the Native Americans talk amongst themselves, even if you don't understand, you can feel the depth, the richness, the soul in the language. It's still a living thing.
Yeah, should be. I was in New Mexico and I felt in those fields, Plateau, I felt the presence of the spirit of America. It is still there, yes, very much so. And it may come back also. Of course, it was a great sacrifice of Americans, or true Americans, to the invaders. They gave up a lot to. But what was created? Industries. Industries is the mind. Where is the soul? Where is this growing soul in man? That's what Sri Aurobindo puts question into. You can create very powerful technology, but this is machinery, typal machinery, without life in it. It's not living. Pleasures, more pleasures. Pleasures are not life. Anyhow, this is amazing. What I read, I understand everything, what is really happening with Russia, with India, why India with this English cannot really make anything. It's kind of obvious. Where is that root? And he says Sanskrit. Sanskrit is is the root, deep root for India, all Indian languages. If they come back to Sanskrit, this would be a blast of revival. The same he speaks about Latin for and Greek for European languages. Yes, they borrowed from there, these deep roots. They went there. From there they took and they developed. They have deeper roots. So there are several languages which are generating other languages, yes, on earth. One of them is Sanskrit. You know. Anyhow, it's something worth thinking of. Great. Let's stop here and meet another time. I do not know what I will do with the other. We will decide what we can do. Yeah?
Vladimir, you said,
Can you send over this verse?
Yes, I will do. I will do send all the. I did send before.
yes. Vladimir, you said in the Vedic course that you wouldn't mind doing the Agni Sutra, the hymn to Agni. I know we have done
Oh,
that.
the number one. You mean this
Yeah.
number one? Okay. Yes, we will do. Yeah, we will go through. It's really always pleasant to go through that sacrificial, line by line and learn it more, because it's like in a nutshell the whole vision. That's why it's the first hymn of the Rig Veda. Yeah? They put it at the first, just as a. Yeah. Great. Okay, I will close with mantra. Om Sarve Bhavanto Sukhinaha Sarve Santo Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.